Today I'm here in my husband's workshop. I'm going to help him today to copper leaf a rod for his one of his clients. This is a curtain rod. So what it is, this is a square rod that they put it over the curtain rail to hide the rail of the curtains. So this client specifically requested this copper color, so I'm going to copper leaf it and take you through the steps. So what we've done here, we've just sprayed it with a base coat of a copper color so that, heaven forbid, if it does get any little nicks or anything, it's got this as a base color, so then you don't see the actual raw wood coming through. So this is the glue that you're going to use. It's called Super Size. I have no idea why that name. This stuff, we normally buy it at Herbert Evans Art Shop in Rosebank Mall. So that's I haven't been able to find this anywhere else, so we find it there normally, and they've got the best prices. Then the leaf itself, you can buy them in little individual booklets, or we normally buy a big box because we go through a lot of this. So I'll show you what it looks like. So it comes in a little booklet like this. This is the thinnest stuff that you've ever worked with. It literally floats away with the slightest little bit of wind. So you need to really make sure that you don't even have the slightest bit of a draft or a breeze or anything in the area where you're working, else you really battle. This literally is so wafer thin. This is my happy color. So this is what it looks like, and you can see it's literally that light. But this gives a brilliant finish. It's not flat like a normal spray paint or even the most metallic paint that you can get. It's going to give you a very not such a luxurious look at the end of the day. So this is the copper. You also get it in silver leaf, gold leaf, I don't know what other colors you get, but those are generally the three that we work with depending on whatever the client orders. Then to apply the glue, I'm just going to use a bath sponge. So this is a new one that I just cut. You can use any sponge, but preferably not when that's been used, because whatever was on it previously, any kind of other detergent, soap, body wash, dish soap, whatever it was, could possibly affect the glue and your final product. I'm also going to use gloves to apply the glue with, and then I'm also going to need a soft cloth for the final finishing. I'll take you through that. So this is just a little like a microfiber cloth. I'm going to take you guys through the process today. So I'm excited, and let's see. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to set it up first on my tray stools. So I'm just at home today. I'm not going anywhere, I'm not doing anything, but this morning I thought, I'm just going to get dressed and put in some earrings and makeup, and when, I don't know, sometimes I'm just like, if things aren't really going your way, you just sort of have to wing it. So at the moment, I am winging life, I'm winging motherhood, and I'm winging my eyeliner, because if you just put on a nice face, you can take on the world. So that's why I'm all dressed up here in this workshop. So I'm going to just make sure I soak my sponge nicely. It's better to rather take less at a time, and you can keep adding, and then just nice even strokes. So the way you apply the glue is going to definitely affect your end product. So it mustn't be too thick, but you must make sure that you cover the whole area completely, because if you have any areas where there's no glue, the leaf is not going to stick to that. And also just long strokes to make sure that you don't have this kind of effect on it, because again, that's going to affect the final product. The glue is clear, So let me show you. It's slightly milky when you start applying it. So you can see it's like a milky whitish color, but it dries completely clear. And then obviously making sure you don't touch any of the areas that have already been glued. Particles, any little bits that you see. Sometimes what happens is when the glue starts drying, it dries quite quickly. It's when you go over it with your sponge again and it's like a little bit dry already, it starts making like, I don't know the English word for it. The Afrikaans word is frimmels. Like when you erase pencil and the eraser leaves those little like bolletjies, frimmels. It's like that almost. So you need to try and give it a good coat the first time. You can rather go over, once it's dried a little bit, go over a second time to apply more glue. But if it's in that tacky phase, you can't really go over it again because then you get those like frimmels happening. Okay, I'm just going to lift it a bit because now I don't want to let it lie on this side where I've already put the glue. Oh, and by the way, I might look all dressed up here, but I'm in my slippers. It's so cold on this concrete floor. I'm like, I'm gonna wear my slippers. It's all formal on the front, on the top, and the party's at the bottom. Okay. I'm going to put this sponge in a plastic packet because I'm doing 3 rods today. So this glue dries, it doesn't dry completely, it stays tacky, and that's the kind of glue you need for when you're doing leaf, whether it's silver, copper, whatever leaf you're doing. The glue has to dry, but it, like I said, doesn't dry completely. So on your sponge it's going to dry, but then it's going to become like very, very sticky, and then you can throw the sponge away. So I normally throw it away after every use. After every project. So for today's 3 rods, I'm going to use the same sponge. So I'm just going to put it in a plastic packet before I do the others, because I don't want it to start getting very sticky. And then when I'm done with the 3 of them, I'll throw the sponge away. Okay, now I'm going to leave this. Generally what I'll do if I'm doing multiple pieces, I will put this in the sun for a little bit, or even just somewhere else out of the way to dry. Somewhere where there's not going to be any sort of wind, dust particles, grass blowing up, anything like that, because, oh my nose, so itchy. Because if there's any kind of particles or dust or anything that settles on the glue, you cannot get it off, and again it's going to affect your final product or your final finish. So I'm going to let this dry. This needs to dry for at least, or set for at least a minimum of about 15 or 20 minutes. If you can leave it for half an hour, even better. This you can leave for 3 days if you want. The glue never ever dries completely. Like I said, the only problem is that you're going to get particles and stuff stuck on the glue, which is going to affect your end result. So generally between 15 minutes and a half an hour is good, and then you can start applying your leaf. Okay, so I've left the glue to set. It doesn't dry, in fact. I've actually done 2 of the 3 rods already. So here's one of the ones that you can see. All nice and shiny. I love this stuff so much. So I'm going to show you now how to actually do the leafing. So again, now being very careful not to touch the glue that you've already applied, because it'll leave fingerprints, and then that's a problem. I'll stop this side. Okay. There's space here for myself. Okay, just place it down and then you try and just very, very gently stick it down. Yeah, you have to be very sure that your hands are completely clean and no residue, oiliness, anything, because it will actually leave fingerprints or marks on the leaf. I'm just going to patch this over here. Get a straight line. Any little pieces that you see you might have missed, you can patch it. Is a time-consuming process, but you want to take your time and not rush it if you want to let it look right. And this is one of those things I remember when we were kids, whatever game we used to play, whether it was generally chess, if you put your little chess man down and you change your mind, my brothers would always scream at me, "A touch is a move, a touch is a move, you can't change your mind." So it's pretty much the same with this. Once you put it down, it sticks and you are not going to be able to get it off. So you have to align it properly, and sometimes you stick it completely skew and then you just have to leave it and patch it because you can't. Once it is on there, it is joined for life. You can't get it off. That is how light the stuff is, so you really have to be careful with it and no breeze whatsoever. Now that I've done the whole thing, I'm going to go back and see if there's any little patches that I might have missed to fill it in with other off-cut pieces. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, now I'm going to go with my microfiber cloth. You can use anything. You can use a dish towel, you can use an old sock, anything that's just really soft. Fold in any hard bits. You don't want any hard, like the seams or anything that could possibly scratch. And now I'm just going to rub very gently, and you actually just stick it all down. I try to do very little of this pushing down with my hands. You can see I use my hands, but very gently. The more you actually touch, the more you are likely to have fingerprints on your final finish, and you don't want that. So you're just going to rub it in sort of circular motions. Initially, just to get all the excess or the worst of the excess off, and then we'll go and detail it just now. And now I'm going to just go over every seam where the two pieces of leaf join and just rub that excess off. It actually comes off really easily. And what I have found with this is if you actually go against the line, you can actually, so going in the opposite direction, so this way, where it joins. I don't know how you call it. I know how I do it, but I don't know how you call it. How's that for proper grammar? I don't know what you call that actual term. I just make it up as I go along. It comes with experience, so I'm trying to teach you my experience, which is quite hard. But where that join is, if you go this direction, you actually get these little pieces to come off nicely. Okay, so that is our leafing done. How pretty! How pretty is this? Oh, this is really just such a lustrous finish, if you can call it that. It's really definitely much more intense, the color, and it's so much more luxurious, like I said, than just the base or the spray. And now what we're going to do is just seal it with a clear coat of lacquer to prevent it from getting any marks or anything like that, and that'll harden it. I'm not sure exactly what my husband uses. I will get the name and put it on after the video. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!